Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today we're going to be talking about something very, very important, which is how to get better at attacking if you are a beginner or if you are someone that is just not very good and just struggling to kind of improve at attacking. Hopefully today we're going to be able to give you guys some tips to take your attacking to the next level. Now, if you guys do enjoy the video and you want to see more, we will do one for sort of intermediate and then sort of advanced, so people at different skill levels can obviously improve at their disposal. But today we're starting off with the beginners and how you can get better at attacking as a beginner. Now, getting better at attacking, I would probably say, is the most difficult thing in the game. A lot of the other aspects of the game, whether that be passing or skill moves or defending or whatever it may be, possession, those things are quite easy to do because there's a very limited number of things that you need to do to improve. Attacking is a bit more difficult because attacking is, there are lots of different components that build up being good at attacking. Like, for example, passing, the way you pass to be able to create opportunities, the speed in which you play, the possession, the way you can hold possession and not give up the ball in certain areas. Do you know how to do any skill moves? Are you unpredictable? Because obviously if you're very, very predictable and you play quite slowly, very, very easy for people to play against you. I played against a couple of people recently who wanted a little bit of help on getting better attacking, 3 different people, and they all had the same problem. And I won the games, I think it was like 4-0, 5-0 and 5-1. And the same problem was that they all played very, very slowly and very, very predictably. Now, if you're learning to get better at attacking, if you're wanting to get better, they're the 2 things you really need to focus on most. It is playing a little bit faster and not being so predictable. In terms of being and playing quicker, let's talk about that one first. The reason why playing quicker is really, really important, because obviously if you play against someone who is quite good and you play really, really slowly, you're easy to defend. It's very easy for people to get across. Now, what do we mean by playing slowly? Generally, it's the speed in which you pass the ball. A lot of people that I have played against that have not been very good offensively, it's not that they've not known necessarily what to do. It's just that they've got there really, really slowly. Like, they know what to do. They know what they want to do. They just do it really slowly. You know, maybe it's the passing is too slow. They maybe just don't have the reactions. Like sometimes that may be the problem. Maybe you just don't have the reactions to play quicker. You've got to be able to move that ball around quicker. The slower you move the ball around, the easier you are to defend, because your opponent has more time to read what you're going to do, read where you're going to go. Sometimes that might just be as simple as missing out a pass. Maybe you're playing an extra pass you don't need to play. Also, little things like making sure you switch the play, because that obviously gives your opponent something different to think about, not just maybe playing the obvious pass. Again, this is where it comes down to attacking. There's so many little things that mesh into it that you need to learn, and it takes time. The thing about attacking, compared to something like getting better at passing, getting better at skills, those things you can do relatively quickly. Because there are so many little things that go together with attacking, it takes a lot longer because you have to practice and improve at each individual thing. And today we're giving you some of those things, like we said, with passing, making sure that you, every now and again, you switch the play so it becomes a little bit predictable, a little bit unpredictable, something different for your opponent to think about. Don't just play but like the obvious pass. You know, if you play the obvious pass all the time, for example, if you're in the midfield and you've got a pass into your striker that looks really obvious, your opponent's going to think that's the obvious pass, that's where I would pass it. He's going to control his defender, going to bring it in front of your striker, intercept the ball, you lose possession. So making sure as well that you are not being too predictable in the way you attacked. And that kind of brings us nicely to the next point, which was obviously being unpredictable when you're attacking. When I look at my own team now, I've added obviously Team of the Year Lewandowski, as you guys can see. So that gives me another string to my bow. Obviously, you guys know I like to play the 5-2-1-2 with my fullbacks getting forwards. Now, what I normally like to do with my fullbacks is get forwards, look for cutbacks, and score goals that way. And that is a very effective way to score goals. But now that I have someone like Lewandowski in my team, it gives me the opportunity to cross the ball in the air. Before, I was playing with Messi and Pulisic as my strikers. Couldn't cross the ball, was never going to win a header. Now I've got a Team of the Year Lewandowski in my team, gives me the option to cross the ball, not just look for cutbacks all the time. So now it's an extra way that I can potentially score goals and create chances. It's another thing my opponent has to worry about. So when I get out on that wing, he's going to be thinking, well, he could just look for a pass back, the simple pass, retain possession, move the ball across. He could take me on. He could beat me and look for a cutback. He could get to the byline. He could look for a cross now to one of the players. So I've now got 3 different things for my opponent to think about when I'm on that wing. And that's where unpredictability will create more chances, and it's going to give you more opportunities to get better at attacking. So how can you implement this yourself? Now, obviously, your team will play a slight role in this because obviously I have the luxury of having that team of the Lewandowski, but you don't need someone like Lewandowski. You just need, it's not about, and again, it's not about just crossing per se, but it's about having more ways to score goals. And this is where, again, we've highlighted it many times in this video. There's so many little things that come together with attacking. Obviously, skill moves is another one. Now, skill moves is not a massive one. I have obviously some 5-star skillers in my team, and one thing that's quite a bit of a stigma in the community is if a player doesn't have 5-star skills, he's not usable. Now, that statement is true, and it's very, very untrue. It's true in the sense that if you are at the top level of FIFA, i.e. if you are pro level at FIFA, yes, you need 5-star skills. If you are at sort of where 75-80% of the skill base is, the player base is, at sort of maybe 10, 11, 12, 13 wins in FUT Champs, maybe you're sort of Div 2, Div 3, even if you're Div 1 Elite Division, you don't even necessarily need 5-star skills. I obviously have Ronaldo, Cantona that are 5-star skillers on my team. I do not use 5-star skill moves ever because the rest of my game is good enough that I don't ever need to use 5-star skill moves to win games. And that just comes from things that you really should focus on when it comes to getting better at attacking. Really, the way you take care of the ball. Your passing, I would say, is the most important thing you need to be good at. I very rarely will ever dip below 90% pass accuracy in a game. Always tend to have sort of 55, 58, 60% possession. And those things are really, really important because it means I'm never giving the ball away. It means I'm always really accurate with my passes. And I have more of the ball, which means I'm going to be able to create more chances. So I would say anybody, you can have 4-star skill moves, more than okay. But you don't, the thing that's really, really important is you need to make sure that you're not giving the ball away too much, making sure that you pass and are precise with your passing, and make sure that you don't give the ball away really, really cheaply. And then as you get better at retaining the ball, then you can start speeding up, playing faster, and also playing more unpredictable. You've got lots of different ways you can score goals. Don't be predictable. One player that I did play against, he was so predictable because anytime he would get forward, he was using my 5-back tactics as well. But what he failed to do was that he kept trying to go down the wing and looking for cutbacks all the time. So anytime he got the ball, he'd go out wide, try and do sort of like a bridge skill move or just knock it past me or whatever, and then look for a cutback. And that was literally all he did the whole game. You can't be that predictable. You've got to then start to add other things into your game to be able to be unpredictable. So of the things that we've highlighted today, just to sum up, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're very, very solid in your passing, very, very solid in not giving the ball away, making sure that you do try and switch the play, making sure you try and miss out really unnecessary passes because it's going to allow your opponent to obviously read you, making sure you're a bit more unpredictable with your passing, making sure you pass the ball a lot faster so you're able to bypass the midfield, you're able to play a lot quicker. Your decision making then has to be a little bit quicker in your head. You've got to then try and think one pass ahead of what you're going to do. So when you're in, for example, the final third, you pass it into your striker, you've got to be thinking, right, what's the next thing? Am I going to be looking to sort of chip this out wide? Am I going to be looking to turn and do a skill move? Am I going to be just passing it back straight away? You've got to sort of be a pass ahead of what you're doing. A lot of people that struggle with attacking, they tend to think in the moment, right, what am I doing now? What's the next pass? When they have the ball at their feet, you've got to be thinking, what's the next pass beyond that? And when you can start to picture an attack 1 pass, 2 passes ahead, that's when you'll start getting better at attacking. If you're constantly thinking in the moment, what am I doing right now? That's when you obviously have to, that's when you're playing now slower, and it's going to become a lot easier for your opponent defense. You've got to make sure that when you're attacking as well, you try and think a pass or 2 ahead of what you're going to do. And that's when you'll start to get better at attacking, because now you're thinking 1 or 2 passes ahead. You can now start playing faster. which then allows you, obviously, your opponent has much less time to react and get players in position to be able to stop your attack. So hopefully you can take away some of these really key tips today to hopefully improve your attacking. Attacking is really difficult. It's not something you're going to get better at in a couple of days or a week. It's something that's going to take weeks, maybe even months of practice. It is probably the hardest thing to get better at in FIFA, I would say. It's much easier to get better at, for example, defending or skill moves, because there's only certain things you need to learn. Attacking, you really can't cut corners. You need to know everything. And the more of these things that you know in attacking, the better you'll become. So it does take practice. Stick with it. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comment section. I'll do my best to help you guys out as much as I can. Make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.